Okay, so, Doctor Strange 2. Actually, let me just turn this. There we go. Doctor Strange 2. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Um, God, that was the most violent Marvel movie ever made. One of the bloodiest, the bloodiest, and probably one of the most violent movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It was amazing. Um, Going into it, I was unsure of what to expect. I think that's what I said for the Batman review, but it usually holds true because I have learned to mistrust trailers. Um, and so with that, I went in with a completely open mind, and what I saw, it was what I expected. It was about what I expected, but Jesus Christ, it was 10 times bloodier than I imagined it was going to be, and it was awesome. Yeah, bloody. No. um, I there's not really much I can say without going into the spoilers because before I came here, before I saw the show, I was on my phone and I saw a news article by Kevin Feige, the current leader of the MCU, basically like the real big head chairman. Oh, I got my sticker up here. And what he said is he feared that the trailers had spoiled too much of the movie. I can say that that's essentially true. It has all the major story beats are already there. They're already prepackaged in the movie, and essentially, what it comes down to is how these pieces fit in, and conveniently cutting out all the blood and gore so that it can fit on the Disney Channel. Christ. This is probably going to end up dabbling into a little bit of spoilers towards the end here, but I'll try to hold off on that for as long as I can. But there was one character, a surprise character, who I was so happy to see. I was so happy to see. This person is currently involved in an MCU project, but what we saw was a variant of them. We saw a variant of them, and they were played by a specific person that people have been fan casting for years. Once you see it, if you're in the know, then you're gonna know exactly who I'm talking about the second that this person shows up on screen. And it was great because they were there and their powers, they were awesome. I'm trying to, because they didn't get much screen time. But what they did, I was there with my coworkers, and we were literally like stomping our feet, going, "Yeah, yeah, it's him." I mean, them. uh, I am obviously going to talk about who it is later in the review, but I'm going to try to again be as non-spoilery as possible. I will say one thing: I feel like there is a bit of disconnect. There's becoming a larger disconnect in the MCU. Um, This can largely be felt in things such as the guy who had played the man who was going to become Scorpion in the post-credit scene for Spider-Man Homecoming. He was like, want to take the kid's head, put him in the dryer, watch it tumble around. You know who Spider-Man is, right? And then Adrian Toomes was like, if I knew, I wouldn't be telling anyone. And then that kind of got bisected both ways, just like a character in this movie. Um, it got just completely torn asunder because not only is Adrian Toomes now in the Morbius universe, but now everyone kind of forgot about who Peter Parker was, and so that leverage that he even had in the first place is gone. Um, and how this relates to what I mean with Doctor Strange, it comes down to just the very simple fact that I feel that especially the Scarlet Witch, after the events of WandaVision, I feel like her character was a bit out of place. Um, God, it's so hard to talk about it without the spoilers. Um, Gosh, because it's difficult, because I really like the Scarlet Witch for personal reasons. And so just kind of to see her character in that movie, it hurt. It really, it did. And it made me really feel for the character, even though the acts were anything but excusable. Anyways, I thought that America Chavez was pretty good in this movie. She didn't get too much development, but that's just because obviously she's probably going to be coming back in other projects. Same with Doctor Strange and Wong. All those characters are going to be back because they're kind of staples at this point. If we do lose any of them, that'll be in some big crossover event. Overall, I thought that the movie excelled in what it set out to do. Obviously, Sam Raimi is a very talented director. He knows what to do when he's behind a camera. The cinematography was wonderful. The scene transitions were just marvelous, and the way that everything was set up, the way that you see the different universes, even the ones that are like ours, it's like there's just those little differences that make the whole thing huge. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling, and it's great to see. The little kids who played Wanda's kids, yeah, the two boys, Billy and Tommy, whoever their actors' names are, they were both very good as well. I don't think it's much of a spoiler to say that that they were in the movie. They were very enjoyable, and I really liked their inclusion in the movie, and we did see quite a bit of them, actually, all things considered. I think I'm going to run this to 10 minutes, potentially, if I can, and then I'll talk about spoilers. Where's my camera at? I don't know what percentage it's at. Overall, very nice scene composition. The story beats, it made sense, it all flowed naturally, and it was all shot very well, very dynamically. The characters were all portrayed very well, even if I really disagreed with some of the ways that they had acted in large part of the movie. Defender Strange was cool. The Supreme, I don't know which Strange that was, so I'm just gonna call him Supreme Strange, because that's kind of what the fans had settled on, even though Supreme Strange was already in What If, and he kind of got his redemption there. I'm just not gonna question it anymore. Overall, the movie was very concise. It was very enjoyable. It was a lot of fun, even though characters were being maimed and their brains were being blown out of the back of their heads and then stretched like string cheese and bisected by their own shields. But that's for the spoiler section, which is coming in about a minute 30. Let's see, what else can I say? Overall, I think that this is going to have very important ramifications on the MCU going forward. Obviously, Doctor Strange is going to be, he already has been set up as kind of this multiverse saga's version of Iron Man. Iron Man, he was the real important character there in the Infinity Saga. He was the one who started the whole cinematic universe, and then he was the one to end it with his sacrifice at the end of Endgame. And I think that Doctor Strange really fits into this mold, because you see him as a character, and he grows. He has different ways that he can grow and improve in each movie. The little leitmotif of the X-Men theme when Charles Xavier came on, that was amazing. I loved that. That was great. I love to see him there. And then the rest of the Illuminati, they were all great. And then there comes with it the spoilers that I wanted to talk about, because that was really the standout to me in the movie. All of the rest of it was all very nice, but the Illuminati was that was the sticking point for me. That was, like I had mentioned before, my coworkers and I, we were literally jumping in our seats. We were like, yeah, look at them. And so then that was great. That was great fun to see. And with that, we have reached the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to be discussing the spoilers now. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Captain Carter just gets fucking cut in half by her own shield. Like, Wanda just takes it and it's like, zoom, and then she's like, I can do this all. And then, this is the character that I was mentioning before, the one who was like all the fan casting, and I was like jumping around in my seat when he came on screen. It was Mr. Fantastic as John Krasinski. Krasinski? I think that's how you say it. But man, I wasn't too sure when I saw like the fan art and the fan castings of him, like, oh, he should be Mr. Fantastic. I was like, but then when he like showed up in the Illuminati meeting room, and then he like teleported in, I literally went like, yeah, that's my fucking boy, let's go. His costume looked great. He had a beard, he had that hair, and then almost immediately he gets pulled apart like string cheese by Wanda. And I thought, oh shit, that was, goddamn. So the Illuminati, it consists of Mr. Fantastic, Mordo, a black Captain Marvel, Captain Carter, Charles Xavier, and Black Bolt. Now, Black Bolt was kind of the interesting one to me because there's, of course, the Inhumans Netflix show, but that was so poorly received that I don't think it's canon anymore to the MCU. So, truly, this was kind of his first introduction, his first canonical introduction, at least. And so with that, and then just immediately, because, you know, all of the Illuminati almost instantly gets killed by Wanda. Almost. And Black Bolt is the first to go, because, Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, John, he's like, well, you see, Black Bolt here can kill you with a whisper. And then he opens his mouth, and he's like, and then Wanda goes, with what mouth? And then, you know, it's like you see his eyes, and he's like, and then the camera, it pans down very slowly, and he doesn't have a mouth anymore. Like, his mouth is just completely sealed, like there's just no hole there. And then he starts to, and he kind of goes, and he's like, and then, you know, you see the back of his head, it starts to swell a little bit, and then just fucking pop, his brain just blows out of the back of his fucking head. And I literally, in the theater with my coworkers, I said, oh shit! And then after that happened, and then Reed Richards was like, oh, calm down. I'm like, no, Reed, you're gonna fucking die next. And then Wanda's like, do you have, John, Reed Richards, he's like, you know, I have kids myself, I know how it feels. And then she goes, she says, is your wife alive? He hesitates, and he says, yes, she is. And then Wanda says, then you will know, then at least there'll be one parent alive to raise them. And she picks, and then, well, first Reed tries to, like, punch her. He, like, makes his fist real, like, big and then stretchy, and then goes to punch her. And then she just grabs him and picks him up and just pulls him apart like string cheese until he's literally just a bunch of, like, little shredded pieces on the ground, just totally dead. And then, you know, then that's when they realize that it's, like, serious. And so then I think, yeah, at this point it's, just Captain Carter and, the Captain Marvel left. And they kind of look at each other, and then their looks, they're like, oh shit. And then, you know, they start to rush on different sides. And then they're both holding their own really well. But then, Wanda, like, knocks Captain Marvel away. And so then she has to, like, gain some ground back, because she got knocked, like, way far back. And so then, you know, it's just Captain Carter and Wanda. And Captain Carter has this awesome looking jetpack, which that's just cool. And then, you know, she does the whole I can do this all day thing. And then all my coworkers were clapping, but then I knew what that meant. You know, she said the iconic line, I can do this all day. And then, no, she's dead. And then, so then, you know, she throws her shield, and then I just think, big mistake, Carter, big mistake. Because then Wanda grabs it and just sends it back, and then obviously you don't really see it. You just kind of, like, see, like, the waist, like, up, like, the waist up. And then you just hear this wet, like, and then she goes, and then you see her slide off of her own torso, and then plap, dead on the ground. And then it's just her, Wanda, and Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel, she comes back and then she like punches her down, and then she's doing like real good, and then she's firing these beams, and Wanda's like having to terraform the ground to put up these walls. But then eventually they knock each other back with like a super force field shield blast thingy. They knock each other back, and then there's this Captain Marvel lands near this giant statue. And what happens is Wanda uses her powers to bring the statue down on Captain Marvel. And then, I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe she survived that. But then you see, like, the hand, and then she just goes, and then, like, no, she's dead. And then, at that point, Doctor Strange is fighting Mordo, because, there's got to be other action somewhere. And then, I'm like, but then Professor X was just in that room, like, just a minute ago, but now it's just the two of them. So I'm thinking, no, Professor X, don't do it. And so Wanda, she goes up, she almost gets America Chavez, and then that's when Professor X wheels himself in, and he's like, stop this, Wanda. And then they both get into each other's minds simultaneously. And so then Charles Xavier, he's walking around in Wanda's mind, because this Wanda had possessed one from another world, so that's how she had did it. Like, killed the other Illuminati members. So then Xavier's walking around like a broken house, it looks like. And then that's when, under the rubble, he sees what he thinks is like the original Wanda. And he goes and he's like, oh, you're trapped under the rubble and it's quickly closing in, so let me help you. And before I go any further, there was it was a cute Easter egg. There was a broken TV in the rubble of the house, but it was playing WandaVision on the TV, like the 50s WandaVision, and so that was cute to see. But then Xavier's like, let me help you out of the rubble, and then he like reaches the hand down, but then shoop, the like quote-unquote real Wanda gets like pulled away, and then this red mist kind of shows up, and it's not red mist Squidward, I can tell you that much. And then from it, the hands, like the Wanda's hands, come out around Charles Xavier's neck, and then snap, and then he just falls over dead in his chair in the real world. And I go, no, because damn, he was my boy. But then again, so was Captain Carter, and then so was Reed Richards. But he was like he was the real one. He was the iconic. He was the X-Men, And I was like, damn. And then at the end, Wanda supposedly dies. She supposedly sees the error of her ways and sacrifices herself to destroy the Temple of the Darkhold. And then brings it down on her. And then it's like, you see all this rubble fall on her, and then like there's this final like explosion of energy, and I'm like, really? You're really gonna try to tell us that Wanda died? Come on. She's had... There was an article that I had read before I got here, another one, that even said that they were in the works for a Wanda movie. You can't just kill off they did kill off Black Widow and then give her a movie. But I don't think that they're going to do that here, because there's not really much to explore, because WandaVision explored her past. She already has her full past out there, so now there's only the future that you can go and see. And I think that that's going to be interesting to see. Doctor Strange and his new badass powers, that was cool to see. Great movie. Bloody as hell. Guts everywhere. Boom! Woo! String cheese! Woo! Yeah, I am excited to see how this movie does in the box office, and I'm excited to see where the MCU is going to go from here. I think that this was the big multiverse movie, and until Quantumania, I think that Marvel is going to kind of dip their toe out of the multiverse, at least for now. Unless, what if Season 2 happens before then? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next video.